Everyone thought I was crazy to purchase a brokerage and open it in 2011. And then with that, we grew the brokerage from 300 million to right at $1 billion in volume. I was International Broker Owner of the Year. Remax was a great company for me at that time. But also through that time, I discovered EXP. I was like, are they really luxury? Are they really what I want to be, to hang my hat after 20 years in the business? What was I going to do? So I said no for a long time, I will tell you, because I didn't really look and take a deep dive into it. And then once I did, I fell in love with it. And I said, this is a model to win. So from a broker owner perspective, there is no better model. I had 5 offices, paying the bricks and mortar, paying all those fees. And I did have a very successful brokerage, but it was still a franchise. It wasn't still, I owned it, but I was still part of a franchise. What I love about EXP is there are no limits to it. You can build if you want to build. If you're a builder, you can build your own, and it's borderless. I have always sold luxury real estate. Even when I owned my own brokerage, I was the realtor for the Nashville Predators, which is an NHL hockey team. And before that, I had always serviced athletes. So branding and how I did my branding, how I did my marketing was very important to me. And as you know, as a listing agent, especially as a luxury listing agent, the one thing when you sit down with any type of seller is, how are you going to market my property? And I would spend thousands and thousands of dollars per property, trying to compete with the other agents in town, whether it's magazines, portals, Mansion Global, all these things that we have to do as realtors to compete. And once I stopped and looked at really because honestly, EXP Luxury, the division is very young. It's about 3 years old right now. And I just didn't know about it. Once I saw what it did, the engine behind it, and truly Lux VT was purchased by EXP. Lux VT is renowned for what they have done in the luxury market with realtors all over the United States. So that gave me the confidence. And then I just did my research.
This is everything they never told you about real estate with the AI queen, Carrie Soave, sharing the tech, tools, and lead gen strategies that top producers won't tell you about. Now, here's your host, Carrie.
Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. I have a very special guest, a woman that I absolutely adore, Carrie Zeier. She is our VP of Luxury Growth here at EXP. And I've got to say, Carrie, running into you at conferences all over the world is probably you're one of my favorite people to run into.
I love that. I love it. And yes, I met you week 1 on the job and at EXPCon Canada. It was so awesome. And I love hearing you speak and really what you are bringing to the world of real estate when it comes to AI. So it's such a pleasure to be here on the show with you today.
Thank you so much. Your energy is infectious. I tell you, I don't know if it's a Southern thing. I think
maybe.
Because I'm up here in Canada, just giving everybody dirty looks. And then and you just brighten my day. And I feel like one of the things that I struggled with in my career was being that super woman real estate agent. And when I picture the best real estate agent, first of all, she's female.
Okay. Of course, we're designing our perfect AI here, right?
Yeah, she's always smiling, always positive, and makes everybody feel like they are the most important thing in the world. And I got to tell you, that's probably why I like you so much, is because I fall short in that. I'm the opposite of that. I'm a very tech person.
See that is not what I see. That's no, not at all. I do love people, and maybe it is the Southern thing, but I love people and I love to see people succeed. And, that's truly where my heart is. And I'm so privileged to be in the position I'm in and expanding luxury, because it truly does help across the globe when it comes to luxury real estate, whether they're beginning in it or maybe they're that seasoned agent that wants to take their business to the next level.
Yeah. But I do have kind of like a superpower now. And I shared a little
Ooh.
bit of this on, I kind of set out a teaser. ChatGPT has a new deep research assistant, and I feel like it's only available in the pro version, which is like $200 a month, but it's worth every penny, because now I can do deep research into anybody, really learn everything I can about them in minutes.
Yes.
Minutes. And it's so great, because that's where I was lacking. Right? Is putting the energy into that. So that that helps me out a little bit so that I can be all tech focused. So I looked you up today and I
A
learned
deep dive into Carrie Zeier. Oh no.
and I want to, and it triggered so many questions that I think the audience is going to love to hear your answers to. First of all, are you from Nashville originally?
I am not from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm from Georgia. I moved to Nashville, Tennessee in 2007. At that point, I'd been a real estate agent for 2 years. So I got my real estate license in 2005. And a lot of my story when I go to speak to people is, I was just so excited when you talk about that infectious personality. I was so excited to be in real estate. I vividly remember flying down the road in Atlanta, Georgia on the Atlanta highway, and I'm calling somebody answers, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I just got my real estate license, blah, 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 blah. And he said, well, come list my home. It was $3.5 million home. So that launched me into the luxury world, of course, but that was in Atlanta. When I moved to Nashville, I started over. I did not have a sphere of influence, and actually I didn't know anyone. So 2007, I started over, and then built my brand and my career through Nashville, Tennessee back in 2007.
I love that. I love that. I don't know if you know this, but Nashville is probably my favorite city in the US. I was there twice last year. Like, I don't travel unless it's for work, because I have to travel so much for work. My vacation is actually at home with my dogs. But I feel like I make sure that I am booked somewhere in Nashville at least twice a year. Live music, country, the whole thing, like that is my
and the Southern hospitality.
Oh, it is so great. It is so great. And something I didn't know about you, you have a large brokerage with Remax. So tell me a little bit about that, because I do consulting for brokerages all over, mostly Canada, some the US, and they're always asking me about EXP. I'm super interested to hear from a brokerage owner's.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, let's dive deep into that.
Yes. So, and I'm very honest and upfront on all of this stuff, because brokerage, I loved it. I loved owning my own brokerage. I got here, like I said, in 2007. I was a team leader at Keller Williams, actually. I really learned how to recruit and learn the ins and outs of running a brokerage. 2009 and 10, and I don't know if you remember, it was the short sale market. And definitely everyone thought I was crazy to purchase a brokerage and open it in 2011. And then with that, we grew the brokerage from 300 million to right at $1 billion in volume. I was International Broker Owner of the Year. Remax was a great company for me at that time. But also through that time, I discovered EXP. And I vividly remember meeting Glenn at an Inman conference in New York. And, of course, he is as nice as can be. And it always blows me away with Glenn. Like, he knew my name and that I was from Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm like, how do you know this? You know so many people. But I was blown away with the platform. But I was already another franchise. So that's what started the EXP. Fast forward after COVID, I did branch out on my own, and I had just Carrie Zeier Luxury Properties, and I waited a bit of where was I going to go next? Where was going to be the next thing to really build? I'd build a brokerage. I'd been a sports and entertainment realtor, luxury realtor, all those years. And what was the next thing for Carrie Zeier? So EXP kept calling. And honestly, I was like, are they really luxury? Are they really what I want to be, to hang my hat after 20 years in the business? What was I going to do? So I said no for a long time, I will tell you, because I didn't really, really look and take a deep dive into it. And then once I did, I fell in love with it. And I said, this is a model to win. So from a broker owner perspective, there is no better model. I had 5 offices, paying the bricks and mortar, paying all of those fees. And I did have a very successful brokerage, but it was still a franchise. It wasn't still, I owned it, but I was still part of a franchise. What I love about EXP is there are no limits to it. You can build if you want to build. If you're a builder, you can build your own, and it's borderless, and you don't have the bricks and mortar to pay, and you don't have all the liability. So, I say that really because I have looked at all sides of it. I interviewed all companies, and I am just thrilled to be with this organization and the people like you that we get to meet all over the world.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I agree with you about Glenn. There's something about him. He remembers details about somebody.
Yes.
I will see him. He's never had like an in-depth conversation with my husband, but he sees him at all the events. And he asked me, he said, "Oh, how's your husband?" He builds bridges, doesn't he? Right?
Yes.
And he remembered what he did for a living, which is more than a lot of people who actually talk to him at length, right?
He's using AI. There's something.
Maybe we know Glenn loves his AI, right? But you also said something really interesting about wondering if EXP was the best for your luxury brand. And I want you to talk a little bit more about how you came to the decision as like for the luxury specifically, because I have a best friend. I'm going to call her out on here. She is with a boutique luxury brokerage. I bring her to the EXP events and she loves that I do, but she won't pull the trigger because she's hung up on what she thinks she needs.
Absolutely.
And I said to her, so I first of all, I'm going to put you in touch with her. I'm totally going to do that.
I love that.
Tell me how you came to the realization and what made it apparent that EXP is luxury.
Well, first of all, I have always sold luxury real estate. Even when I owned my own brokerage, I was the realtor for the Nashville Predators, which is an NHL hockey team. And before that, I had always serviced athletes. So branding and how I did my branding, how I did my marketing was very important to me. And as you know, as a listing agent, especially as a luxury listing agent, the one thing when you sit down with any type of seller is, how are you going to market my property? And I would spend thousands and thousands of dollars per property, trying to compete with the other agents in town, whether it's magazines, portals, Mansion Global, all these things that we have to do as realtors to compete. And once I stopped and looked at really because honestly, EXP Luxury, the division is very young. It's about 3 years old right now. And I just didn't know about it. Once I saw what it did, the engine behind it, and truly Lux VT was purchased by EXP. Lux VT is renowned for what they have done in the luxury market with realtors all over the United States. So that gave me the confidence. And then I just did my research. I never in a million years thought I would end up being the VP of luxury for this division, but I am that passionate about it. And like I said, after 20 years of being in the business, I wanted my next mission in life to be of impact, to make a difference as well, and to keep excelling, but help others on the journey. So that's what I get to do with EXP Luxury. It is an engine that wins listings. It is an affordable way to compete in the market, but yet dominate and win. We go against some of the best and top firms and all over the world when it comes to luxury. We are taking those listings, we are beating the competition. And, some of this I've helped agents even over a Zoom meeting. And when they follow the model of what we have, we are winning those. And they call me like, hey, I've got the number one luxury agent in my town and I want to win. And we're taking those listings. So I'm very proud of what was built. It was built through 5 amazing agents at EXP. They are some of the top performers, though that's what we call our luxury council. They got together and the rest is history. Right now we're growing rapidly. We're truly in 24 countries, and I look for the best is still yet to come. We are always improving, always doing more for our members. So if you can't tell, I'm very passionate about it because I believe in it. I see the difference it makes in other realtors' lives. It's just getting the word out and people understanding, because I do understand when you start comparing, you're looking at these other companies, and a lot do have a luxury division, but always go in, of course, see what are you getting for it? What is the price of it? And truly, is it a win-win for both? So very proud of our program.
Yeah. And okay, so who could join the luxury division at EXP? Like, do you need to have a certain designation? Like, tell me, because I actually had somebody in my downline ask me about this, and I just put it on my CEO.
Why didn't you put it into your AI? We need it programmed in AI, right? Yeah, you'll have to tell us how to do all that. We do have 2 ways of in, and with EXP, we're very inclusive. We want anyone that has a will to be a luxury agent. There is a way. Yes, you may not be at that price point now, but we do go into a lot of raising your price point. I've worked with many of agents. So I go back to my brokerage days. I took agents on that maybe were a $5 million producer. And by strategically working through network, sphere of influence, and working those angles, we've grown them from 5 million to 25 million to 50 million to 100 million plus. It's just putting the systems in place. So to answer your question, how do you join EXP Luxury? There are 2 ways. One is 3 sales of over $1 million in the last 24 months, or you can take a luxury certification. We do those in different ways. I do a lot of world tours, and we offer certifications through that way. Plus, we have an online course. And then if you're lucky enough to hit to some of the EXP cons, I'm always giving a certification at those as well. So we try to make it accessible. It is an annual membership, though. It is an annual membership, and it is a marketing platform that we have members, and it's expanding too. And the fact that we now have ambassadors, we're growing the ambassador program all over the world. And what does this mean? It means we have people in the local communities really getting in there, getting with the agent. So we have more in real life experiences other than just, our Zoom meetings.
Yeah, I love that. And you make it sound like an exclusive club that I want to join. So how about this? How about I'll build you something super cool in AI, and
I
then
love it.
I'm not in production anymore. And then you give me like an honorary designation. How about that?
Well, we do have an affiliate membership. So that needs to be you, because you're such an influencer, and you do spread the word. And I love how you do promote us and EXP Luxury. But it is a game changer if you're in real estate and you're thinking, because you can always increase your price point. I mean, if you're a $10 million agent, you want to increase it to 25 million. If you're a $25 million, how can you streamline it? And EXP is on fire right now, bringing over some of the top realtors in the industry. And I love it because their first call is into luxury. They love it. I love to go meet with those that are coming in because they're excited about it.
Yeah, I love that. Now, You are married to a hockey player, or
Well,
so
actually, he's in the other room. I need to pull him in here. And he's Canadian, Carrie. So you and
I have,
yes, he's the Saskatchewan side of Canada.
is he coming to Montreal then with you?
You know what? I think he will. Have you not met? I thought you met Jim.
Yeah.
Okay,
My
he
cousin
was in
will
the
be there, and he
yes.
is a guy's guy. Like he is, you know.
So is Jim.
I feel like they'll get along. So you need to bring.
Jim played 16 years in the NHL,
Mhm.
and now he's on the management side with the Vegas Knights. So we've been there since the inception of the Knights. It's been amazing. Winning the Stanley Cup with them was just, there are no words. It's so fabulous. So
Wow.
I love our hockey for sure.
Okay, so for an agent who does higher end homes already, maybe they're a luxury agent, but maybe they do or maybe they don't have the luxury designation yet. Okay.
Right.
They want to break into the celebrity and sports network. What would
Right.
be your one piece of advice to get in front of that clientele to expand their sphere of influence into it?
That's a great question, and I'm asked that often. Sports and entertainment, I would say, is it something that you love? Because there's always a way to get into anything. I say sports and entertainment. I did the sports, not the entertainment, but the I would love to do entertainment, but that was what I had built. And it's just like anything. It's like, think of farming a neighborhood. Like, you own that neighborhood. You talk about that neighborhood. You're on social media talking about it. You're attracting to that. So I've seen agents break into, maybe they don't have the money to sponsor some of these NHL teams, but if that's still your passion, whether it's NHL, whether it's NFL, whether it's your soccer, whether it's baseball, it's actually just being a part, just being there in it. There were certain clubs within, even, I'm going to use myself as an example. So I sponsored at a time the Nashville Predators. When I did, there were other realtors, of course, going to the games. And then they had a private lounge that was more of a social country club part of that. So agents would join that. So still they were my competition, although I was the sponsor, because they were there. They were posting about it. It's still relationships.
Yeah.
So just because there's a sponsor to something doesn't really block it, because if that athlete knows you, and it's just like getting your big luxury listing. It really just takes one, and then playing on that. But it's just being a part of it, getting in, starting to network,
Yeah.
giving back, showing up at, athletes do give back to the communities, getting involved.
Yeah, I love that answer. So when I was practicing and I had my team, my area was Hamilton. So it's like the GTA. And we have a CFL team.
Canadian Football League.
Yeah. So what I did was I found their spokesperson, who is a micro influencer, not too big, not Canada wide, very localized.
Right.
And I partnered with him. And
Yes.
he became a friend and we created content together. And then that trust translated because everybody trusted him. If you're representing or a part of a sports team or I'm not a sports person, but I'm with this,
Right.
there's like a camaraderie there.
Yeah.
Right. And it brought me a hell of a lot of business. And as a content creator for 15 years, I, of course, just like that was all over the place.
Well, and you made another point. I mean, when I got to Nashville, it wasn't like I went straight to sponsor this NHL team, but my kids played hockey. So I was all about hockey. And so I was posting, and I was still the hockey mom, lived, breathed, and did it way before I had that. So if, obviously if you're not sponsoring something like that, there's many levels of it. Youth hockey or youth football, youth soccer is a great way to get into it. There's the colleges, there's the minors, there's different ways to get involved in sports. But I will say, the crux is that's to me a niche, being that luxury agent, knowing how to provide that service that leads into a lot of that as well as you're building out your niche.
This brings me to a question. So, what would you say? And you don't have to disclose any names. I just
Oh no.
details, okay? What's the wildest, most unexpected request from a client? Because we know we can get a little quirky when we're dealing with high net worth.
Oh, I guess my most quirky referral was I was younger in the business and it was a referral out of Miami, Florida, and they had chimpanzees. So that was a wild one because these chimps were their babies. So, it was to acknowledge the chimpanzee. They clothes, I mean, nice clothes too, Gucci little clothes. So I will say in the luxury real estate business, as you say, you will see it all. Obviously, most of it I'm under NDAs for, but that one is always a great story of mine because it was a lot. So
I love that. Oh geez, money! I tell you, it just.
I know. Hey, welcome to the luxury market, right?
Okay, so now I want to talk to brokerage owners out there. What would you say? Because I speak to a lot of brokerage owners that are considering it, and they see the value. So the younger ones, the more open-minded ones, always happen to be younger,
of course,
see the advantage to a cloud brokerage. And then they have this question. So I want to know how you'd address this question. The question is, should I join a thriving cloud brokerage like EXP, or should I join one and at the very beginning on the ground level? What would be more advantageous to me? That's what I've got to figure out. And I don't even know how to answer that question.
Oh, that's funny. I can see that, especially the younger. For me, I'm going with the biggest and the best. I've always done that. Why not? I mean, why reinvent the wheel? What Glenn has done with EXP and where EXP is, any startup, and when I say startup, these companies that are 5 years or younger, even the ones 5 to 10, it's just growing pains. I spoke with somebody the other day and I said, no matter, as good as you are, it still takes time. Success takes time. And it's not taking away from these newer companies, but EXP is tried and true. I mean, and it's gone to truly another level. With Glenn in action with international right now, the growth of the international community is amazing. I have no word. I love our country leaders. I love what's happening. I love the electricity that's flowing through this company. And if you look at the people that are coming over from Canada and the US, it's jaw dropping. Every day there's someone so big joining. So my thing is, why would you do that when I look at, even if they're coming over for the attraction purposes, the revenue share is absolutely amazing. It's just, it's tried and true. It's there. Then you look at the stock, amazing. And then you look at really, like we say, where the pros go to grow, because that's what's happening at EXP.
Yeah. Now, I have a follow-up question for that, just for my own personal information. Let's get real and talk about numbers, because you've done this, you've been there. Right. We all know there's a danger of moving a large team or a brokerage over to a new to a new location. Yes. What does the loss look like realistically? What is to be expected, and how do you manage that in your mind? Like, how did that whole thing go?
Well, I think no matter where any brokerage goes, there's going to be some loss. I mean, that's just, you're moving people, you're herding cats is what I used to say, because you can't control them. I mean, that they're an independent contractor, right? I mean, it's so, I think though, the ones that I've seen successfully move and bring the most people with them is, they're a great leader and they have the buy-in of their people. If people want to leave you, it's just the nature of the business. I mean, it happens, but we do see more staying together because they understand the value, and they understand that leader. And where I look at a broker owner is the winning in this is as a former Remax owner, I got the lion's share of the commissions. Everyone paid the broker owner. I mean, that's how it worked. With this, everybody wins. You come over
So true.
and it's a win for everybody. It's not just the broker owner winning, it's for everyone. So I'm passionate about that. And when people understand that, they truly see the gift of EXP.
Yeah, and I bet you having the support of the right org and the right people during that move mitigates the loss because they're able to communicate best, to
Yes.
the agents on
Yes.
how this is going to be better for them in the long
Yeah.
run.
Yes.
So,
And I see a lot of traditional brokerages looking at us. It's not just the people from our, say, similar models. It's from big traditional brokerages that, I mean, the last couple of years have been rough in real estate. And then you put together, we need bricks and mortar. I mean, that will always be debated. Some people do like it. Some people do love going into the offices, but there are solutions on our side for that. And, some of these big teams do keep an office, but maybe one office, not 5 and 10 offices like the old way of doing real estate. And, I was with a traditional brokerage team that was really sitting on the fence. And they were, well, what about this? And we get this, or we've gotten that. And I was also just like, what are you paying over there as well? I mean, they were paying over $100,000 per person a year to this brokerage when we cap at 16. So I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just take your savings here and you can do all that you want to do right now?
right.
If you want to spend that amount. But so I just think it's a different way to look at it. It is a different model, but it is a model for success. It does give a retirement plan. How many realtors do we know that, we all say, and I'm one of those that say, I'm going to work till I die because I love it. Like, what would I do if I wasn't working? But are you working in a way that you do enjoy? And do you have a retirement plan? Those are, that's the big win when it comes to EXP.
And I need to add to that too, it doesn't have to look like winning in production either. Like I
Yeah.
came over thinking I'm going to grow another team and I pulled myself right out of production. But it was EXP that was the vehicle that drove me to the top of the AI arena, right? And it's like it doesn't matter, like whatever, like when Leo says whatever
Yes.
your dream is, no matter how big, no matter how small, we can facilitate it. He's not lying. Like it doesn't even have to be real estate. Like
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
saying that, but I'm the
I agree.
perfect example of that. Like,
Right.
you know,
Well, the opportunities, it is an agent centric company. And I say that I mean, it is that. There are companies that are consumer driven, there's some that are agent driven, there's some that are a mix of those. With EXP, they are agent centric, and the agents are empowered to service the customer at the highest level possible.
yeah.
To me, I mean, that's what it's about, because we are in business. I've always taught, be the CEO of your business. And that's the beauty of EXP. You can be a CEO, and you can be on stages, you can coach, you can teach, you can attract, you can build your own brokerage under you and still be that high producer. I mean, there's so many different avenues that you can design your future and what's best for you.
Now, I want to talk about a topic, and I kind of want to like turn this into a brainstorming session because in the past, like I've been at this AI thing, I think for a couple of years now. And in the past, every time I spoke to somebody in luxury, now we're talking, a year ago or so, they didn't see how it fit into the luxury space. So let's talk about, just implementing AI and tech while still maintaining the quality of service that is luxury. Where do you stand on this?
Well, for me, I'm not as good at it as you are, but I am a chat GPT girl all the way. I think it's, you and I think have the same philosophy. I came out months ago and I said, I was at Inman last year and I said, it's not AI going to replace the agents, but the agents not using AI will be replaced.
Yeah.
So I'm very proactive in it because it's a world that misspelling and proper wording should no longer be, in those quick text. Like even when I text, especially on a company subject, I want it to be perfect, and there's nothing more, but I want it to be my language.
Yeah.
So I love everything you teach. I love what you stand for because to me, that is the next generation, or is now, of realtors, especially when you're speaking about luxury real estate. Luxury real estate is elevated. Luxury real estate is that extra service. We're dealing with athletes, CEOs, entrepreneurs. They expect a different level of service. That's why we call it luxury real estate. So I think AI has to be integrated in it. Look at where we are, but definitely it's going to even increase more.
I think that the problem around this is that most people and most agents don't understand really what AI is or its true advantages. They think that AI comes down to a bot or a caller that will call their leads. And correct, there is no place for that in the luxury market. In my opinion,
Right.
There's no place for AI callers in the real estate. Okay.
Right.
If somebody is going to pick up the phone, I strongly believe that you owe it to them to be a human on the other.
Oh, of course.
There's a place for bots and texting because there's different stages of the process, but
on the call side, yes. Now, on getting a plan together, going over certain scripts, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to use AI for that. There's nothing like a human touch. I never have said AI should be calling, but I think AI is great at helping organize, get business plans. And again, you do a great job of teaching this. It still has to be you. I never really start AI with give me this. I always start with AI of this is what I have. Do you have tips to make it better? Can you make it better? And you say all the prompts, but overall, these are my thoughts though.
Yeah. And you know what? I got to share with you. I am currently creating an entire C-suite of GPTs.
Wow.
Because I hacked the creation of the top CEO, CFO, CTO, CMO in our industry. And once you hack it and you figure out what it's made up of, and you can get all this information from AI and ChatGPT if you know how to ask for it and you know how to dig deep into it. And then turning that into your personal advisor for free.
Yes.
That's literally
what I love about AI.
Right. I have so I don't know if you've noticed this in ChatGPT. Have you played with tasks yet?
I've asked it task. I know not what your level.
Tasks is in beta, and you can basically set up mini automations. It won't do things outside of ChatGPT yet within tasks in a Plus account. However, I have conversations with ChatGPT every single end of month and tell it everything that happened in my business and then the next month's goals, so that it doesn't just have my long-term goals. It has my monthly goals. And then I set a task so that I get an email every Monday morning with KPIs and tasks to do that will get me to my monthly goal quicker. Okay. And then on Friday, it checks in on me and asks me, did you do what I told you to do? The progress, give me an update. And now you have a real assistant. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm interested in building, like a true assistant.
Yes.
Because I don't know what happened during COVID, Carrie, but people just lost their drive to work and do anything. And I have the hardest time finding support staff now. And now that I use AI at such a high level, like it's only going to get worse, right?
Well, and I also think it's an affordability thing for agents that may not have, the money to spend on an assistant, or, there's so many things it does. It helps with social media campaigns. It helps, like you said, you can really get in with your AI and help keep you on track. It can be an accountability of, like you said, follow up with me on there's a world out there for AI, and it's moving so rapidly, and I love what you're doing with it. You always spark within me, even when I watch your social media. I'm like, I need to be doing that. Yes, I can do that better. And so, how hard, I'm going to ask you a question. How hard are the prompts? How do you come up with a prompt? I get asked that all the time. And our member luxury masterminds, a lot of that comes up. And I'm like, I need to bring Carrie in for this. Not this Carrie, this Carrie.
Honestly, my prompts are never perfect when I start. You have to look at it as a process and a conversation, not a prompt. Is there such thing as prompt engineering? Yes, I can teach it to you 100%. But you're not going to remember to include all the context that you should be when you're asking for the job to be done. It's going to come halfway through the conversation, and you need to be able to ride it out and go with the flow and just be there and present and like bouncing ideas off of an assistant. And that's what it comes down to. So I definitely will do that. Now, I just thought of another way that luxury agents could really up their game.
Yes.
What if they had an assistant that they could voice clip every little detail in real time? So there's no more note taking, no more going back to your CRM. I mean, like whether they're walking through a house and need to remember the type of floors, or they just ran into their client and saw that they bought a new car or got a new pet, and they want to store that information for future use. What about an assistant like that? Because I have something for you, and you know what? I'm going to send it to you after this podcast.
Oh my goodness, that would be amazing.
Right? Because now we're elevating the client experience. The more data we have, and the more ease, the easier it is for us to record and store data for future use, the better the experience is going to be down the road. Because if I know everything about you, Carrie, and we've only had 3 or 4 conversations, I could blow your socks off with like a closing gift or a housewarming present. And you would just be like, what the F? How do I do this? Because I'm not paying it. And that's not my superpower. It's some people's superpower. It's not mine. I got like I have like a cheat thing where I can store all this information.
Many superpowers.
And then it can suggest based on everything it knows about you, and it knows everything about you because it remembers it.
Powerful. Yes.
That's super powerful for. I'm going to send that to you later on. So anybody listening, like you're going to have to get a hold of Carrie to get a hold of it.
Don't worry. I will be sharing it. You know me. We'll be sharing it with our luxury members for sure.
Oh my goodness. Right. So, okay. What is your 5 years from now? What do you see for you? What do you see for luxury at EXP and combined? Tell me, what does this look like?
I love it. I love EXP so much. I want for EXP Luxury, I see us being just the absolute powerhouse. Not, we're already on the EXP side, but just the growth of EXP Luxury, it's only going up. I see us more. We're already in 24 countries, but we will have a bigger impact in those countries. And the sign, I always teach our sign, that black and gold, beautiful sign, will be seen truly all over the world as if you want a luxury realtor, this is who to get, eXp Luxury.
Love that for eXp. And if there's a leadership team that can pull it off, it is in place right now, because I don't know about you, but every time there's an announcement made, it's just like they're just slapping people left and right with like crazy resources and announcements. And I'm just like, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this in the last year. I am great on Wendy, on Leo, on Brian, on Seth, Glenn, you,
Kendall, Amy. There's an amazing, amazing group. And I am so fortunate to be a part of them. I mean, they amaze me every day. And it's truly, one thing I do, well, so many things I love about eXp. One is all of the leaders have actually been high achievers. They're all realtors, brokers. I'm a broker in Florida and Tennessee. Look at what Leo's done, Wendy's done. I mean, Glenn, Kendall, Amy Weaver, they're all big. They've walked the walk and they talk the talk. It's just not a corporate group of leaders. They understand real estate. And I think that's important if you're out there looking for a company to look at the leaders. I mean, what other company has every single person has actually sold real estate at a high level? That's powerful. Yeah. And so therefore, yes, we're very agent centric because we understand agents. We are agents. We have been agents, and we do know what agents need.
Yeah. And I'm always like so pleased when they say they're rolling out, like I think they just announced CoStar for the commercial team, and that's freaking expensive. And every time they announce something like that, I remember I'm in the right place, even though I might not be using it for myself. To be amongst leadership that wants to pour in money and time into their agents is very rare these days.
And I would love to give a shout out to Sean Murphy. He has done an amazing job on the commercial side, and they are growing rapidly. Yes, very excited about that. And to have that, I think with commercial, it's very hard to see a successful commercial division within a residential firm. And I think, of course, eXp is doing it the right way and really pouring into it. So I'm very proud of that division.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Carrie, I'm so glad you agreed to come on so quickly. You always support me any way I could support you. Please just let me know.
Well, I've already said you're going to have to come on to the eXp Luxury Mastermind. So we're going to hold you to it.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you so much, Carrie.
Thank you.